the big thing that we should probably talk about is obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin is getting in amazing shape, and he is purposely posting videos of him in his not movie trailer, but I think he does a TV show, so it's a TV show trailer, and he's just doing kettlebell like fucking exercises. His thighs look gigantic, actually, kind of like when he was in his prime.
Not
And
just shredded, yeah, but
yeah,
big,
he's not just shredded like he was. He's always kept himself in good shape since he retired from active competition, and he looked good last year. He never took a shirt off, but he looked good. But now he's looking like he's gonna take that shirt off pretty soon, like, and he's looking pretty big, actually. Not like enhanced big either. Like legitly, he's just working his ass off and probably proteining like crazy and
There's all
everything. So
Stone
now
Cold's
the meal
always been a
planning
naturally
stuff.
big guy.
yeah, everybody is. It's all now. It's not necessarily about The Rock coming back for Roman anymore. It is Stone Cold Steve Austin is supposed to come back, and the rumor is that John Cena is going to be his opponent. That's rumored that Cena's going to come back for a last match, or everybody says their last match, but he's going to come back for one more time. And Austin felt so good after last year's Mania that he is open for another thing, and then. I don't know how people know this on these news sites or whatever. Like, they said that WWE has
speculation.
offered him a position at Mania this year. I don't know how you get that news. I don't know how that's real.
I believe
But,
they've offered him a position at Mania every year for ever since he left. I mean,
yeah, you know what? You're
why
right. That's a
wouldn't
good
you?
point. Vince's like, you sure this year? You sure, pal? All right. Let's let you
But
know.
I would say, like, part of me looks at that as like, okay, the ink's not dry, so like, it's not like WWE to want to like even hint at that yet. But it's like he's doing it on his own because like maybe the financial deals aren't done. Like he's bringing interest and they're wanting to like so then come to the table to probably get more money.
Look at-
Like I bet the deal's not done, and these
I'm
videos
getting
are
in
all
good
to make
shape.
sure it
Look at
gets
that.
done.
You like that, Triple H?
Mhm.
But
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
couldn't
What am I
it
doing?
just be for like a movie role or something? I mean, is there nothing on the horizon for him?
I was just gonna say that. Like, it could just be for a movie role, but he's
Yeah.
he's posting these videos like almost every day now. So
Yeah.
someone's telling him to do it, and he's doing it for a reason. Austin's never been
Well,
like a look at me.
I would say the hits are probably doing it. Like,
Yeah,
if he's trying to,
Austin's
if he's trying to
never
get his podcast going, whatever, could be anything.
Austin's never been a look at me kind of guy. Like, The Rock, yes, he's on fucking his thing every day, and he's like, The Rock's eating 25 pancakes right now. Like, and Rock's always been kind of flamboyant and like likes attention or whatever. Austin usually is a pretty like quiet guy. I mean, he does TV shows, but so it's unlike him to do this, but he's getting ready for something. So of course, all the wrestling audience were like, "Oh, he's getting ready to come back for WrestleMania." So I don't know that. Nobody knows that. It's speculation.
I've even heard in the comments it's Royal Rumble and he would be a surprise entrance and possibly even win it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I doubt that. I don't think he needs to win anything to walk into WrestleMania. And if they wanted to give him a world title shot, he would just get a world title shot. It wouldn't even. And he's not going to be.
Him and Cena would be great.
Some people are throwing it around too that maybe the deal with The Rock, because of The Rock's movie commitments, is not coming through the way they want it. So it might be Austin that comes in there. But I'm just like, look, if you can't do the bloodline, you can't finish the bloodline. I mean, Rock is part of the bloodline, so I don't know. I wouldn't want Austin. I mean, like, listen to me. Like, I don't want Austin to face Roman. Like, I wouldn't fucking watch it. But I don't know. I just don't like that like matchup. But if they're looking to headline one night, headline another, maybe headline one night with Rock and Roman, and then the other night with Cena and Austin. Okay. Like,
you can always have those. I don't want to say
I don't want the world
superstars,
title to be buried, but okay.
Back.
Yeah.
The classics can come back and hit. Like Kevin Owens in hindsight was like the perfect opportunity pick for that because it didn't mess with the major storyline of Roman and and everything going on for that. So you pick you have someone like that can carry it. You know who would be great for that situation would be Bray, because Bray doesn't have much going on yet, and if the storylines don't develop, he could easily wrestle, and it's okay to lose to say a Rock or a Stone Cold.
Well, I'll cut you off on that one. I don't want to see Bray lose to anybody because it's just going to be the same shit.
I'm with you.
So I don't want to see Bray lose to anybody.
But I would make an exception for that if he had nothing going on, and all of a sudden it was his ticket to wrestle The Rock at WrestleMania.
I think that it's also too. I think it's only November, and I think that everyone's going to run. Like nobody. The Rock has not confirmed. Everyone just assumes it's going to be Rock and Roman. Everyone does.
We've been talking about that for months.
Yeah, I think all these guys aside, like the Austins and the Rocks and everything, like I think main storyline wise, Cody's going to win the Rumble. Cody's going to beat Roman. I think that's still the mission. That's still the plan. But what I have been reading and I'm interested in is that Triple H is open to just kind of TNTing the entire WrestleMania format and being like, why can't we have like the legends come back and hype them? And why can't we have feature matches for each night? Like, Mysterio versus Mysterio, Roman versus Cody. We'll do our thing and we'll dress up both nights. But why can't we like do maybe the first night is the Usos defending the tag titles against the Paul brothers, and the Paul brothers beat them, and that's where the falling out with Sammy happens. And then on night 2, Sammy takes on Jay. Like they're like, why? So Triple H is open to like, why don't we use night 1 to set up the rest of night 2? So we'll have our marquee matches. Night 2 is going to be this guy, this girl, and this girl, and a feature tag match, whatever. So we got
but you make
but yeah, we start
for,
so Triple H is interested
match.
in
We're gonna put this together.
Yeah, he's interested in like having the storylines go through. Or night 1, maybe Roman beats The Rock in night 1, and then on night 2 he loses to Cody. So that way,
they did it. They did it this year, Jess. They did it with Austin, and then Vince came in unexpectedly to wrestle right after that match.
Yeah, and then Austin came back for night 2. So I think they were learning how to deal with the 2 nights. Like before, the first couple of years they did it, it was all separate, and now they're just like,
a few surprises
we can,
on each night, and you can make those happen.
I think that, and the reason why they brought Austin back both nights last year is for the fans, really. Like, imagine buying 2 tickets and you don't know what's on the card that night. You only saw one night. They wanted to make sure everyone was kind of got a bit of Austin because it was very Austin heavy branded. Like,
they also made sure too that Undertaker came out on both nights too. He was announced as the Hall of Fame the first night, but he came out the second night too.
Yeah. So that's kind of a nod to the kind of fans and the people that bought tickets over there. So I don't know whether they would do that again, and if you'd be pissed if you didn't see Austin both nights this time, or Roman both nights this time.
Yeah, and it could go. I really, as a fan, don't want the world title to be buried. And if you're going to crown Cody, whoever beats Roman after all this time has to be special. And I think you got to do it to a young guy that you're trying to push. Like, look, Austin and the Rocks can come back, and I'm there for it, and everyone else will be there for it. But I don't want them to be the driving force. They're going to go away. They're not going to be there after WrestleMania, but Cody will.
Who's going to be there tomorrow? Yeah.
And Roman's even going into part-time mode, like after that. So it's like, dude, like you can't fuck your world title over. I want to see that world title match crown, be the main event of one of the 2 nights, go on last. I hope the second night, because I really would like to see Cody, it's a self-made story, just a picture of Dusty on the screen and him like holding the belt up or whatever. Like you got to end night 2 with that. You have to. Yeah. But it doesn't matter if Austin's coming back on The Rock. Also, the rumors are that maybe Roman will just lose to Cody, and it'll be Rock and Austin. Like that's another big thing that's thrown around there. I think that's less likely because they're both. You need to put them in there with somebody who's currently active. Like Roman can help carry the Rock.
Someone's got to carry him.
Yeah, I don't know if they could do it again because everyone's like, oh man, Austin's still 2-1 on The Rock, so Rock's going to even it up or whatever.
I mean, and Stone Cold had to do it in
that's a long shot.
In a pinfalls or anywhere match, right? Because he couldn't. There's no way he could have run the ring. I wonder about The Rock's ring shake because he's so. I mean, dude, he's bigger than he's ever been.
Yeah,
and
busier. The second, you can't afford to be injured. You can't afford to train for weeks. Yeah. He's
and the
too
second
busy.
match with Cena, they did back-to-back main event for WrestleManias. He tore his abdomen in the beginning of the match. Because he's so big and he's not used to being flexible and running the ropes and all that. You'll tear shit if you're not used to it, especially if you're big like he is. So but maybe The Rock's not coming at all.
You need a decent heel. It's going to do most of the work. Yeah.
Can you imagine how many buys it would do if it was Rock versus Austin though? The mainstream media. My God.
Oh my God.
It doesn't matter if it was just a schmoz for 10 minutes with their shirts on. It wouldn't. Holy shit.
I was talking to someone today who found out shamelessly that we have a podcast about wrestling, and she said, I haven't watched. I said, let me guess, since Stone Cold and The Rock. She's like, yeah, that's what I was really all, if that was something that was announced for months, so many people of past generations of wrestling fans would come back and watch that just to see it. We were at the airport just after WrestleMania, and you had your WrestleMania shirt on, and the lady's like, oh, you're wrestling, huh? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I used to watch that. And Jess is like, let me guess, Stone Cold? She's like, yeah, that's when I stopped when he's gone. It's always
yeah, our era of when we started is long gone. The current wrestling fan now that we run into are in their 20s and 30s, and they're like, oh yeah, I used to watch the Attitude Era. That's our rockin' 80s now. It's our generation's gone. There's no more.
Well, there's a few select of us that will continue to watch no matter what.
Yeah,
it's a small amount of people, and like I said, we've seen 3 or 4 eras go by.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things flying around right now. Who knows? Austin may not come back at all. Neither could The Rock. Like to me, which is even better for the product because heaven forbid you put all the current stars over, and they need it, and
speaking of like
Brock's the
speculation,
special
Jess,
thing, but I think one of the two will be back. I think we'll see Austin this year, or we'll see The Rock.
I think you'll see at least one.
Like, yeah.
You'll see at least one, if not both. Speaking of speculation and a different Austin Theory stuff has been kind of interesting the past couple weeks.
I said it last week. Like people who are thinking that, I guess they're not pushing him anymore. It's like, of course they fucking are. Like they're just gonna reset him.
They're gonna.
And then he cut an awesome promo on Monday Night Raw, and
that promo was dope.
Now he's his own fucking character. They hit the reset button. I love it. Like,
what did they do? Like, I didn't see it actually. What did they?
He just basically cut a promo on it and about how like they wrongfully put all the pressure on him, and like he still hasn't blown his destiny.
He expressed
his destiny
every
is to
time
be
he
the
went
world
after
champion.
the world title, the bloodline would just destroy him. So he had no.
Yeah, he's
way,
like
So
yeah.
So like, who could I really go after that was big in a big title? That was Seth Rollins, and that got taken from me too. And it was really like him kind of being somewhat bitter, but also like you think that phases me? Like I'm fine. This is going to be nothing but fuel for me. Like you could see him turning the tide to not being like that chicken shit heel anymore.
So they handled it totally perfect. I loved it. I loved it. And I was just like, why would Triple H look at him and be like, no, get him out? It's so stupid. People are so dumb.
No, he looked at it and said, this is not working. Let's change it. That's what he did.
We're just gonna hit the reset button on you, man. You're super talented. We're gonna make you your own guy. You shouldn't be a slave to like Vince or the briefcase anyway. Let's break you off on your own.
They're gonna start cheering for him inside of a month or two. You watch. He's gonna have these great matches, and
I said it last week too. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, he's a face. It's in there. I know it's in there.
You said it on the last.
And they need him, and they need him to be a face too. Yeah. They need big baby faces.
They do, and he can do that. I think. Hate to say it, there's two things. He needs to be a face, like you said. He needs to get Cena size. I know that sounds bad, but he needs to get a little bigger, like a little bit. Just a little bit.
I think he's working on it. I think he'll be fine.
But
you don't need to rush anything. Heaven forbid he doesn't win the world title for 2 years. Heaven forbid.
I know. Is that really a problem?
Yeah.
It's
not at all.
IC on for 6 months or something. He already had the U.S. title. So
and they're putting one of my favorite things about the Triple H regime is he is putting a lot of hype back into the U.S. title in the Intercontinental Championship, and I absolutely love it. And it's great. Like, especially with Roman being part-time or just doing promos on either show and not defending the world title, their focus is now the secondary titles, which is just how hard was that? How fucking hard was that? Like, it wasn't hard at all.
Hogan never defended the title on Saturday mornings. Like, you had to wait for the pay-per-view for that. Like you never saw it.
Yeah. Speaking of business and a smaller promotion, we talked last week about the Nick Aldis and Billy Corgan breakup over the NWA. Well, they had their Hard Times pay-per-view last weekend, and a brand new NWA heavyweight champion of the world is Tyrus. And people are not fucking happy about Tyrus. And I think that people look at how fucking happy. Look at how he doesn't care if you're mad or not. So I was telling you guys before we hit record, this is why, like, listen, people know that he has a certain politic preference outside of wrestling. His character never speaks about politics. So I will never judge him on his politics as long as his character doesn't bring it into the world of wrestling. And it doesn't. You can shit on Tyrus because he's probably past his prime and he's a big dude upstairs and he has little skinny legs and it's hard for him to be mobile. Like you watch, I was saying too, Vader is a perfect example. He used to have big monstrous thighs to match his big fucking broad shoulders. But as he got older and more injured, his legs got super skinny and you could tell Vader was not mobile in there. He was almost falling over every time he just ran the ropes. And I think Tyrus is at that point, but he is on Fox News a lot. And he has and by the way, for people saying that's why they put the title on him, he was on Fox News this whole time, always talking about NWA. He's been television champion for like the past year. He always brought the TV title on there. So I don't think they really did it because he's on Fox News. I think they did it because they knew people would lose their minds. Way more people are losing their mind, by the way, than actually watch the NWA product. So that's how I know it's sort of working. And I went on the NWA Facebook page. And they were, they post whatever, and it gets like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 comments per normal, like on their average picture or whatever. But on his, all of them were 700, 800. All of them. And with the NWA title, with the shit-eating grin on his face like he's doing right now. So, people were fucking going nuts. So How do you use that though? If Billy Corgan is going to take the negativity that he got from Nick Aldis and take this negativity that he's obviously self putting on his promotion, doing it on purpose.
Sure.
You got a baby face in your back pocket? I hope you do, because you need a baby face to walk in there and eventually beat him. But I think Tyrus is going to reign for a while and just beat people and irritate us and probably only wrestle once a month and irritate us. And that's fine. Building heat like that is fine as long as you're going to have a baby face that's eventually going to walk in and take the title off him to get that big pop. You need that. We'll see. Right. But I'm along for the ride. As long as they don't shove politics down my throat in the wrestling characters, hey, man, I don't mind Tyrus being world champion at all. Whether I agree with his politics or not, doesn't matter to me.
They need help, and if any sort of mainstream help or controversy or whatever, it gets more people to tune in the product or boo or whatever, see him try to get his butt kicked. I mean, it's the entire Flair run of NWA was just chasing the champ everywhere he went, looking to see him get beat.
He's a big guy, and you can protect him. And if you have a really talented babyface in there that will sell a shoulder block from Tyrus like he just shot you, then that's Andre was like that for the last 4 years of his career. He couldn't move. So you had to run into him and bump and do everything you had to do to make him look like this monster. So I think they'll do the same thing with Tyrus. I think let him flaunt the belt, let him go on whatever show he wants or whatever. I think it's only going to help that company in the long run.
Let him come down to his Broadus Clay music, please. Let him have the right.
Somebody call Billy Corgan. Somebody call Billy Corgan. Like he changes the lyrics to
or the Smashing Pumpkins redo it.
Oh snap.
Somebody call my mama. Like it's a whole tonight.
Oh man. That'd be great.
Yeah, listen. It hasn't been the same to me, the product, since they've come back from the pandemic. They just lost their momentum. But I'm fucking fine. It's never going to be as big as WWE or even AEW. It's an alternative product. They do a little bit more of an old school feeling to it.
It does feel like there's a lot more strategy and thinking there because they have to be. I wanted to talk about one more thing if we could. We didn't bring it up earlier, but I just think that the strategy that's not going anywhere is what's happening in AEW. Even I have my AEW thread, my text thread. These are all AEW guys, but they're really scared of what's going to happen to MJF. They think that this is a horrible, horrible move.
Making him face?
Can he? Yeah, making him a face. Can he really go there? Where does he go from here? Like, hey, Stone Cold always had Vince, when he was a face. And I said, hey, the worst thing to do with Stone Cold was making him a heel. We talked about that.
Well, as we're recording this, by the way, we're recording it on a Friday and Full Gear is tomorrow. So by the time this airs, it'll be right around the time that Full Gear is airing. Will MJF get the title? Have they telegraphed it enough to where if he doesn't get the title, is that going to deflate the balloon? I don't know. We'll see. I hope that Tony Khan now, after this whole CM Punk thing and the whole, Elite, who actually are also returning. I'll read the card in a second. Don't let me forget.
Sure.
I really hope that Tony Khan has a plan and he's going to kind of revert back to the Tony Khan of year 1 and year 2, where he did have some kind of cool twists and surprises and whatever. I think it's up in the air, right? I feel as a fan that that's not going to happen. I feel that Steven Regal is going to turn on the Blackpool Fight Club, and it's going to be Steven Regal and MJF. That's what I feel. 100% is going to happen. I don't think MJF as a person. If you keep him
heel, that's all right with me.
Yeah, I don't think MJF as a person is ready to turn face, because Jericho talked about it on his podcast a couple months ago about how when MJF came back and the crowd response or whatever, and Jericho's like, yeah, welcome to being a face, buddy. And he was like, I don't want to be a face. I really don't. And Jericho's like, yeah, you're gonna do what they want, like meaning the fans. And so I think Austin was the same way. When he became Stone Cold, he was like, I'm a Stone Cold Killer, and they're like, but people are cheering for you. Fuck, I don't want that. Like, but it's like after a while, they were like, yes, you do. Like, if we're smart, we're gonna gear the company around you and go. So I don't know. I feel the MJF character is a piece of shit, and he's the best as that. I think that he should swerve everybody, and I think that he should be heel. However, if Tony Khan is looking for a hero and Punk's not there anymore, and he's obviously not putting that stock in Daniel Bryan, because maybe Daniel Bryan doesn't want to be that guy. Nobody stopped to think about that for a second, that Daniel Bryan might not want to be the top of the food chain anymore. He's just done. He wants to wrestle.
Put guys over.
Yeah, he wants to just wrestle and have a good time.
And have great matches. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people are also on the other side saying, you know what, they rush this feud with Samoa Joe and Wardlow, and that Samoa Joe might get the title off Wardlow, the TNT title, and then look at what you have. You have a ready-made feud for a freshly healed MJF, a re-healed MJF, and then Wardlow is going to be the guy to go after him. But I think if you're going to put the title on MJF, let him ride it for a while. Same thing like Tyrus. He's got to be your champ for a bit, and because he's got the mic. But you put the title on him for a bit as a heel, or do you put him on it for a bit as a face? I don't know.
Hey,
and I kind of like that intrigue.
I love Samoa Joe, Jess. I really do, but does it really?
I do too. Well, he's way past.
Does that make sense? To put a title on him at this point, like it's weird. I don't get it.
So let me read Craig, do you want to speak on this real quick before I read the card to Full Gear?
It should be good. The in-ring action on AEW has been pretty good. They've had a lot of misses on Dynamite Wednesdays, but there's the tag team division is fantastic. There should be some great action, and I haven't really thought about what Jess was talking about, the healer face with MJF, but it's true. I don't know. I don't know where they go.
I think it's super important. I think it's super important for them to get this right. I just feel that way.
MJF's got to win it. Like he has to tomorrow.
It has to be done right.
And guess what? He can still win it heel fashion, and he can still be a heel champion. And like I said, if Regal's by his side, I think that's great. And you carry that for a while.
I think they're telegraphing it. I think that, like, how can you not think Regal's going to fucking turn on Moxley? And Moxley doesn't need to be a part of a group. Why he's not? He walks in through the crowd. He's a loner.
Been a loner. Like, that's his MO.
Well, did we talk last week that Regal, because of the Triple H administration, the NXT, the spot might be back, so he just might be leaving?
I think he only signed a year contract. It's coming up. And obviously he got let go under the Vince regime, and now it's not Vince anymore. So I am reading, again, just rumors, that he might be going back to NXT/WWE because now Triple H is in charge, and they've always gotten along well, and they'll put him right back in.
Hey, they built a great product together, man. They really did.
But what better time than to turn Regal on that, and then whatever remaining months he has left on his contract, MJF can just dump him too because he's a heel. So at the end, he could just fuck Regal over too, like he's a heel. So
you can screw Regal over, and you can bring in other people into your heel faction in the process.
Yeah. So really quick, I'll run down.
MJF having a faction and treating them like shit would be so great. That'd be awesome. Whoever it is.
So I'll run down the AEW Full Gear card, which is going to go down on Saturday, November the 19th. Wardlow, the TNT champion, is defending the title against Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs in a 3-way match. Sting and Darby Allin are going to take on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I don't know why I know this is going to be good. I don't know why I know it. I just think it is. There's going to be guitars broken everywhere, and Sting no-selling guitar shots and getting huge pops from people, and Darby Allin doing a coffin drop off a building onto Jay Lethal. It's going to happen. Then we have Saraya making her return. Paige, formerly known as Paige, making her return against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
I'm a little scared.
I am too. I'm really scared about that. The match that I hope kind of steals the show and pays off their feud, because I feel like it's stalled out. Jungle Boy will take on Luchasaurus in a steel cage match. I really, really hope this continues to push Jungle Boy and it pays off. I'm not a big fan about Luchasaurus turning heel because I feel like they have a lot with him. I get Christian's doing his best work as a heel right now, by the way, but he's injured. So the payoff will eventually be a Christian against Jungle Boy. I hope they do well. I hope they don't bury Luchasaurus, but I also need Jungle Boy to go over and look strong because he's got to get after Christian.
Yeah.
So I hope that's good. Then you have Jade against Nyla Rose for the TBS Championship. I'm very interested. I thought Nyla Rose has been very funny. She took the title and she stole it. She physically stole the title. And so now all the time she just fucking taunts Jade with it. I think it's great. I think so far it's been really, really funny. So I'm hoping
that's old school. That's so old school, bro.
Jade's pretty green, so I'm really hoping that like Nyla can cover up. Death Triangle will defend their Trios Championship against the Elite. That's right.
The
Young Bucks and Kenny Omega is back. They're back. But they've been airing those vignettes.
The target managers are back, Jess? Is that what
you're saying? The target managers are back and in control of their departments, toys and fishing and the automotive department. But I'm excited. It's weird because they've been doing those weird vignettes where like Craig says like the Thanos thing where the E evaporates out of AEW and everything, and they're airing like what if the Elite never existed or whatever. So I think there's going to be some kind of weird plot twist with this or whatever. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm intrigued.
Maybe they'll start trying to take over the company.
Wow. Christopher Jericho will defend the Ring of Honor Championship against Bryan Danielson, Sammy Guevara, Claudio Castagnoli in a 4-way match. Could be fucking great. Could be too much. I don't know. Toni Storm will defend the AEW Women's Championship against Jamie Hayter. I really like Storm in this run, and I think that she's a star, and I hope that Tony Khan keeps kind of fanning her flame because she's great, and her look is awesome. I think she's a good wrestler.
I really wonder if the Vince thing had blown up a little earlier, if she would still be in WWE. If you know what I mean, if Triple H had that control, I don't think
there'd be a question that she'd be there at this point. She would absolutely be there.
Yeah.
The Acclaimed are going to defend their AEW Tag Team Championships again against Swerve in Our Glory. Swerve and Keith Lee. I think Swerve has a lot of talent. I think they're going to feud eventually, Keith Lee and him.
Yeah,
they've never.
they're almost broken up now. They have to
along.
fully split tomorrow.
The Acclaimed are super over. I hope they keep their momentum because the Acclaimed are pretty fun to watch, and they remind me a lot of DX and New Age Outlaws and stuff like that. Obviously, because Billy Gunn's there too. So
Scissor Me Daddy is offensive, and I don't like it.
And then we have Ethan Page against Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, or Lance Archer in an elimination final for the Eliminator Tournament for the Heavyweight Championship. I'm pretty sure the winner of this will get a world title shot. And then in the main event, we have Jonathan Moxley defending the AEW Heavyweight Championship against MJF. This is important.
How many matches?
That sounds like it's 6 hours. Jesus.
53. There's 53 matches.
Good Lord.
Something deserves 2 nights. That sounds like it to me, but they would never be able to pull
And then just announced right now, as we were talking about this, Stone Cold Steve Austin will be returning for AEW to take on the Big Show in his Mr. Insano outfit. So there we go. Just added right now.
Opening contest.
Yeah. So yeah, exciting weekend, I guess. I have twins that are having a birthday party, so I probably will not spend the $95,000 to get the pay-per-view because they're pretty expensive at EW.
What is? I didn't even look. Is it the cost like $70 or something?
I think it's like 60.
I won't buy it on Bleach Report. They messed with me once, so I'll never buy a pay-per-view from them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
sadly, I don't watch the AEW pay-per-view.
Did you ever get your money back on that?
Yeah, I did, but
they only do 4 pay-per-views a year, so I get why they charge so much per one. They don't do it every month, but it's still fucking $60, man.
Bleach Report sucks.
Yeah.
And by the way, if they ever got their head out of their tushy and got a network, everybody would pay $10 a month.
Yeah, it should be coming. I mean,
it should be.
Well, I don't know with that disaster that Warner Brothers Discovery is right now. Who knows? But I know. And the cuts that they're having. But
to your point, even if it was on Max, if they got it streamed there, like that would work for.
So they need a good pay-per-view showing. Again, every company's like this right now because we're not in a boom period, so I don't know why it surprises people. But AEW attendance has been really bad actually lately for Dynamite and Rampage, and of course all the fan videos are leaking out of half empty arenas and them shoving the crowd only over to the hard camera side or whatever. WWE does the same fucking thing.
They did the same shit.
Same fucking thing. And it's not. Is AEW a little less than it was a year or 2 years ago? I'll admit that, yes. But it's the alternative product. I don't ever think I ever put it above WWE or considered it.
There's a little thing called inflation right now. It's definitely affecting people's ability to go to these games. I mean,
very good point on that, actually. But also, too, it's flattening out the product. It will fucking... And by the way, we're not in a boom period. And everybody acted like we were in a wrestling boom period 2 years ago. There was never a boom period, guys. It never was a thing. Like...
Well, it's interesting you say that because I have people they're not avid fans anymore, and they say, "Wasn't wrestling just amazing right now?" It's like,
there's a selection, but everyone's taking a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche.
WWE, which is like a global icon thing,
yeah,
and it's $1 billion company. It falls so far from it, and territories are virtually non-existent. They're like, what? It's not what it used to be.
There was 3 promotions to watch. I remember thinking it was great in the Monday Night Wars before NWO. It was Monday Nitro and Monday Night Raw, and you could also watch ECW if you could able to get the Philadelphia feed. And I thought that was great back then. We weren't in a boom period yet, and then after NWO came in, it started building, and the WWF started fighting back, and then wrestling became in a boom period. So, I mean, just because there's selection doesn't mean there's a boom period. There's not a fucking boom period. Everyone's stealing.
They're not fighting for 4.0.
Everyone's stealing for a smaller piece of the same pie. It might get there. They just have to get someone that gets over and that captures like the hearts of everybody. Then you'll get a boom period.
The point that we've been making for years now is that for a few years is there is something for everyone right now. Like if there's a certain kind of wrestling you like that you care for, you want strong style, New Japan's for you. You want something new and innovative and different, and it's going to take you all which ways. AEW is great. You want something for your kids, and you know it's going to be solid every single week. Watch WWE and get Peacock on, to watch the network. And then you got NWA. If you don't want to pay anything, you watch it on YouTube. You got NWA right there on YouTube. You watch whatever you want, pretty much, right? So there's something for everyone. And I said this like 3 years ago when we started this podcast on a Christmas. I just did a single. I said, you guys are being ridiculous if you think wrestling is all shit. You just haven't looked hard enough. I'm sick of the complaining about
it. And by my comments, I mean, like, when people start shitting on ticket sales and stuff like that, I'm like, well, why are you acting like it's a boom period? But why are you acting like it's a boom period though?
Were you there?
Yeah.
Meltzer?
Yeah, did you buy a ticket? But not even that. Like, I'm just like, even fans are just like, oh god, this is embarrassing. I'm like, dude, there's been countless videos of Raw and SmackDown.
Did you get to the AEW pay-per-view on Saturday?
I've attended Raws where the entire fucking behind the hard camera is empty. Like,
it's all taped off. Yeah, it's all been tapered off.
There's a reason why NXT tapes in the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were getting a little rambunctious when they started to tour a little bit, and they were
right.
But even when we went to San Diego to see them,
dude, it was fucking that arena was only like 30% full.
Yeah,
and then we went to Riverside, and there was only a 2,000 seat venue, and that shit was full out and rocking. But it was a 2,000 seat venue. It was awesome.
It was like a small movie theater.
Yeah,
it was fucking great. I loved it.
Yeah,
it was so fun. That's when Drew was champion, I think, at the time.
Yeah. Wow. Yes.
Drew McIntyre was champion. And TNX.
So I don't want to go too much longer or whatever, but those are like the hot topics that I thought or whatever. And we're going into a pay-per-view weekend, and Austin decided to look all hot and sexy, like getting ready. So for something, I don't know what he's ready for. His prom? I have no idea.
There's never anything bigger than The Rock or Austin are doing something. There's never anything bigger.
And it's only November, and everyone's already booking WrestleMania. I love it. I mean, I love the interest when it comes to that. But
yeah, it's that time of year, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun to fantasy book at this time to see what's going to happen at Rumble and at Mania.
Yeah,
Rumble, who's going to win it? Like, who's going to win Elimination Chamber to get the other title shot if there is going to be one? But we only have one champion right now, so.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, real quick before we go off the air. Elimination Chamber is going to be kind of weird this year because, like, normally there's two champions, so whoever wins the Rumble, you kind of know they're going to get put in whatever they think the main event program was, and then the Elimination Chamber winner will kind of get the other champion. But now there's only one champion.
Maybe they get the next title shot after Mania. Maybe they'll.
Maybe they'll change it, or maybe
it'll just be a dead issue.
Or heaven forbid, Elimination Chamber, you get a shot at SummerSlam, and you get to look forward for 4 months ahead. I don't know.
I'd be good not seeing Elimination Chamber.
Changing the game, changing it. That's my horrible blade for the stuffed up nose.
Nah.
But anyway.
I mean, let's leave it there.
Everyone go fuck yourself.
Whoa.
Hey.